Hey everyone, John Henry here, slingshotfutures.com, and welcome to the Market Mindset, where we take a look at the market psychology today so we can better understand tomorrow. And today, we're taking a look at the Euro-USD Forex pair. Now, as always, whenever we're looking at a Forex pair, we always start at 7 o'clock and work our way forward, just because it is a 24/7 market. So overall, it's always good to keep an eye on what's happened so far that day, and we can see that it's been relatively bearish. Not so much so that it's blatantly obvious you need to be a seller, you need to get in, not anything like that, just a little bit of a wider range working its way down. And so when we open up at around 7 o'clock, we see continuation of that movement where, we're looking at the buyers having, well, a little bit of an issue. The buyers are trying to get the move up. They already got a big pop higher, which completely fell apart. They dropped all the way back down, tried again, and then we start seeing them roll over. So when the buyers finally give up, we see this really nice looking bear candle to the downside, and that is the clue that the buyers are now starting to let loose a little bit. The big objective for the sellers now is to get back down to the lows. The buyers are obviously giving up, so we're looking for an equidistant breakout. We have a breakout of about this much on the upside. We're looking for that same amount to the downside. So looking for the sellers to jump in. Very nice candle to get that move started, and it took a big pop lower. Now, they didn't quite make it to that major area of support. And notice what happened, right? We got a little choppy. Buyers start buying into the lows for, again, the reason being mainly just because it is very back and forth. You could arguably see a lot of times where buyers would have been able to make some profit. In this case, though, with this big drop lower, buyers are starting to buy into the lows. It doesn't go so well. Sellers try it. Doesn't go so well. Buyers try it. And then we finally start seeing some movement to the upside. Now, we come into the moving average, and we're starting to contest the prior week's high. Generally speaking, whenever you're dealing with a prior week high like we saw yesterday on crude oil, it hits those areas and one of two things is going to happen. It's just going to fluctuate around there and then end up breaking out, or it's going to play a huge role in what to expect going forward. In this case, after the test, it stayed bullish, very weak, but it stayed bullish. When the sellers tried coming in, notice how there isn't a good looking bear candle inside here to sell. And when they finally get, an okay one, it's still not very good. They got an okay one, triggered in, immediately goes bull engulfing the opposite direction. That's a good clue that the sellers are now not only in a bad position, but they're stuck. They don't want to be in this sell anymore. And now they're getting big clues that the buyers are starting to take over in a very sideways downward move. So that allows us to become buyers, knowing that we're probably going to have another run back up towards the highs, maybe back to the original entry point from earlier, maybe above the swing high, maybe all the way back to the highs. Either way, though, we have some room to get the move going. So a nice long signal to get the drive up. Very consecutive, too. Big, strong bull, strong bull, strong bull, strong bull. The first weak bull that we have, and when the bears take a chance, it ends up even weaker than the bull attempt. And that's another big clue that this is likely just a pause in an otherwise strong up move and to become buyers to drive the market back up once again. So very interesting morning on the Euro-USD. It was a bearish trend, but notice most of the good setups were to the long side. And you wouldn't have been able to pick up on that unless you were keeping an eye on paying attention to both sides, knowing what the buyers and the sellers want to do. The sellers had a beautiful drive down, failed to get the continuation, and when we start seeing more and more and more failure, and now we start trapping in sellers, that's when the buyers swarm in and try to get it going. Now, in all rights and regards, we probably have a good shot at making an attempt back down to the lows. Again, this is a wide range to a bearish trend, and, well, we're cycling off the highs. So the sellers are starting to come in, and they're looking for a drive back down. But just a great example of paying attention to both sides of trade and trading it accordingly. So that's going to do it for this one. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send me an email, jbrink@slingshotfutures.com. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you found it interesting. And until the next time, we'll see y'all later.